Namaste, I am Deomita Chatterjee and welcoming you all in the 5th chapter of Natya Shastra. Preliminaries is first performed at the beginning in the stage. It is called Purvaranga. Different parts of the preliminaries which are to be performed in due order. The total Purvaranga is done in a succession of 19 steps. The first 9 steps were performed while the curtain or Yavanika was held somewhere in the mid stage. Pratyahar. Instrument players entered the Nepathya from the doors of Griha and took their seats in the prescribed place, that is center backstage by the wall. Entry of the lead singer and his supporters, that is Avatarana. Arambha, which consists of sounding the tonic for all singing and playing to be done in a play. In the step, the instruments were tuned to this vocal ground and all instrumental composition was played to test this tuning. This instrumental composition was called Ashravana. Bhaktrapani, which was to play only to the strings and to test their mutual coordination. Parighatana. It was done again, an instrumental composition in which the fingering and strokes were displayed the players. Samghodana is meant for rehearsing the use of different hand poses for indicating the time beat. The 3 pairs, 3 ways of making vocal composition of instrument was done. Margasarit, the playing together in harmony with one another of drums and stringed instruments is called Margasarita. It is meant for rehearsing the use of different hand poses for indicating the time beat. The drums were combined with the stringed instruments and finally a long composition was played as 9th step, Asarita. Asarita, in which the divisions of tal were demonstrated and counted with this much accomplished, the Yavanika was taken aside. All this could only be heard by the audience. Is meant for practicing the beat of time fractions, that is Kalapata. Gitavidhi is for singing the glory of the gods. After the curtain was flipped away, Utthapana ceremony, the first visual was the presentation of a song and dance in praise of gods in group. The cardinal ritual of Purvaranga, the entry of Sutradhar's prayer to ward off evils and vignas, and Utthapani Dhruvas are sung. The walking round in Parivartana, the guardian deities of different worlds are praised by the Sutradhar walking all over the stage. The benediction, that is Nandi, is so called because it must always include and evoke the blessing of gods, Brahmins and kings. Then an Shushka Vakrishta is sung, which is a Avakrishta Dhruva composed with meaningless sound. It indicates verses for the Jarjara. From the performance of Rangadwara, which includes words and gestures, the main performance begins. The Chari consists of movements depicting the erotic sentiment and the Mahachari occur movements describing the furious sentiment. The conversation of the Sutradhar, an assistant, and the Vidushak is called 3-man's talk, that is Trigala. The address which the Sutradhar makes suggesting the beginning of the action of the play in hand with reasoning and arguments is called the laudation, Prarochana. Once Narada with other musical experts was performing in this order along with Nirgita, which is sung as a combination of sounds carrying no sense in praise of gods with proper tempo and time beat. On hearing these happy songs praising the gods, Daityas and the Rakshasas were all provoked to jealousy. They accepted this Nirgita in accompaniment of the instrumental music, but not the songs in praising of gods, and urged for its repeated performance. But the gods approached Narada to stop the repeated performance of Nirgita. Hearing from gods, Narada replied, let the Nirgita, which is dependent on the music of stringed instruments, be not stopped, and combine it with the Upahana, which is a song performance depending on the musical instruments. Charm of this Nirgita will not provoke the Daityas and the Rakshas, and they will not create any obstruction. This Nirgita to satisfy the vanity of the Daityas, while in honor of the gods, it is called Bahirgita. After performing the songs Gitaka and the Vardhamana, Utthapani Dhruva is sung, which has in its feet of 11 syllables. The first two, the fourth, the eighth and the 11th as long in the Chatushra Tal, and 4 feet and 4 Sannipatas, as well as 3 kinds of tempo and 3 gati. It consists of 4 walking rounds, that is parivarta, and 3 panis, and should be in the Vishloka meter and in the same kind of tala. The tala in question should consist consecutively of samya of 2 kalas, tala of kalas, samya of 1 kala and sannipata of 3 kalas, with a walking round is made up of 4 such sannipatas. The first walking round in the preliminaries should be made in slow tempo, Sthitalaya, and on the termination of the third sannipata, in it, that is the first parivarta, drums should be played. In second walking round, commenced in medium tempo or lay, the Sutradhar enters the stage with handfuls of flower offering, and the 2 assistants carry a golden pitcher and the jarjara. There is a manner prescribed in which they march, encircle the stage, and then offer flowers to Brahma Mandala, which is in the center of the stage, where the deity is supposed to be present. With Lalita gesture, Sutradhar bows to Lord Brahma. In third walking round, Parivarta, the Sutradhar goes to take up the Jarjara from the center of the stage by performing some chari movements. In fourth walking round, which begins with the taking up of the Jarjara and ends with an approach to the musical instruments, should be made in a quick tempo.